Wow, have we chosen the right show to stand? It's so intellectual. I mean, that's been our biggest complaint with Marvel, right? We're like, you guys keep on winning, but where's the sophistication? You're as shallow as a $1 billion bill. Kevin Feige's like, I don't have any complaints from the mouse, but now they're also shutting that down. I thought Avengers Endgame started to become more sophisticated in terms of storytelling, and it just goes to show you how important time is, right? Speaking of time travel from Avengers Endgame. But Avengers Endgame was a super long movie. They had 3 hours to tell an amazing story, and now they have a television show. WandaVision is a television series. They need to do a better job advertising this. In the comments to my reaction, some of you still didn't know what it was, and that's Disney Marvel's fault. But now they have a television show, and this just is like operating on so many levels already. I mean, like, we're going to have a lot to talk about, and I'm not just talking Easter eggs for once when it comes to Marvel. I'm talking like almost Watchmen level. I mean, that would be difficult. But if it can get anywhere on the board as Watchmen, which is walking away with a ton of Emmys tonight, kudos to the Disney, the Marvel Studios team. This is their first, and they're just getting started in television. They always win. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Everybody loves a winner. And sometimes everybody also hates a winner. It depends I wonder what camp you're in. But Marvel, I mean, the constant there is winner, and that's Marvel. Now, before we talk about the trailer, I just want to talk about this amazing poster. It's so beautiful. I love how they've mixed the static of television with Wanda's powers. Well, I know there's like little elements of some DC stuff, even Wonder Woman a little bit with some of the TV nods they've had in 1984, and Doom Patrol, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But the clarity, the focus, the laser focus of this show, I think really helps it get across. But first, this poster. That's American Gothic. What a nod. I mean, it's fantastic. I love this intellectualism, and it isn't so intellectual that it's impossible to get. I mean, I would say that a good percentage of you are familiar with American Gothic and would make that connection, or it wouldn't be too much of a leap. So you can see, of course, their sitcom characters in the middle there, but then you can see parts of their costume on the outside. I hope when this is all said and done, Wanda gets a sweet new costume. I think Vision already looks pretty darn good, but I think Wanda's ready for an upgrade. Some kind of headpiece. She needs the headpiece. But that's a beautiful poster. Look how great Elizabeth Olsen looks. Her smile, she's just beaming. This is her moment. This is her time to shine. All right, so let me close that. Now, of course, this trailer aired on the Emmys. Not only because the Emmys are on ABC, which are owned by Disney, but because WandaVision is a celebration of television. In the trailer, it goes a new age of WandaVision, and then it changes to television. So WandaVision isn't just a play on Wanda and Vision's names being put together, but it's also a play on television. Oh, it's so great. And then, as I've talked to you about before, I did a whole video about the sitcoms being spotlighted in this series that we've seen so far, and I'll put a link down below, and I'll pin it to the top of the comments so you can check that out. But one of the things I talk about there that I want to touch on quickly here is that when there's a long history of immigrants first using comic books and then television to learn about the new culture of their new home and the language, and it's an easy way to familiarize yourself. And so it makes sense that Wanda, an immigrant herself, would become really interested in TV. Oh, it's so great. I do see a lot of similarities to Doom Patrol. Danny the Street, Rita, Matt Bomer's Negative Man. Paul Bettany and Matt Bomer have very similar looks. And Doom Patrol even got there first, but it never got a big audience, unfortunately, and it's very all over the place. I think in a charming way. But again, as I said, it doesn't have the laser focus of WandaVision. You see WandaVision and you go, I know what you're going for. It's like a term paper. It has a thesis statement. Whereas Danny on the Street, but Doom Patrol has many. It's like Doom Patrol is like frolicking on a college campus, but you don't actually go to class. You're in class when you go to WandaVision, and I think that makes a really big difference. I mean, it's already so brilliant. I can't believe it. I mean, here, they say we're going to take you on a walk through sitcom history while Wanda loses her mind. I mean, that's a log line. That's a log line. Also, I want to say that I had some comments about the cinematography. We're going to go through this. I said it looked like a TV show. One of you said on my trailer reaction, you said, Grace, it's supposed to look like a TV show. It's about TV shows. Well, it actually doesn't look like a TV show. It doesn't have the lighting. It doesn't have the grain of those sitcoms. You know, it still has that modern television sheen. That's not a knock. I'm surprised. I didn't expect it. I thought it would look more filmic, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be absolutely brilliant. It has the exact same sheen as Umbrella Academy, Doom Patrol, and The Boys. And that's some great television. That's some great company. But boy, I can't believe that Marvel's caught up to them already. I can believe it, but Marvel. Oh, last thing I want to say before we get started is the 1950s music and theming that goes throughout this actually makes it a great match with the Disney brand. I think it'll maybe bring a lot of people to watch this who maybe otherwise, aren't as much into Marvel content. I know some of those people still exist. I'm thinking specifically of my parents. I think they'll really, I've told them about the Marvel Plus shows, the Disney Marvel Plus shows that are coming, and they've been like, maybe we'll check them out. And I'm like, are you crazy? How would you not want to watch this stuff? But I think I can get them to watch this. And, it reminds me of like when Walt did the introductions to the wonderful world of Disney. And of course, my parents are very familiar with the earlier sitcoms that they're going to be running here. And so are many of us because they've run them on TV Land and other places over the years. All right, let's get started. Oh my God, this is so great. All right. It's like, I feel like I'm going back to when I was in film school studying television. All right, here we go. I studied TV and film. Like even that logo, like I like the static, but it doesn't look like an old logo. It looks to me like a computer effect. And they're just little things that, it's nitpicky. I'll admit it this time that this is nitpicky, but I think it could be a smidge perfect. But otherwise, it's amazing. All right, here we go. So that street looks to me like it's exactly from Doom Patrol, by the way. But they're just married. Oh, they're in their new home. I like the way, by the way, I don't do breakdowns with sound, but I like the sound of the static expanding there. And how cool, it sounds almost like a cross between static on a television, but also Wanda's magic. Again, that thing they did in the poster, combining the two. So that's straight out of Dick Van Dyke, that kitchen. That's like, some of these are like kind of like the sitcom they're covering. This is clearly Dick Van Dyke, which they've used, I believe, to officially discuss the show. So she's like, I want us to fit in around here. And look, she changes his face. It's very bewitched, Like that's modern visual effects, but the sparkles on his face are very like, old school television. Like that's what they could do. And back then people were like, wow, that's amazing. I can't believe they just did that. Now we just find it charming. So he's like, oh, you. I like that she did like put a smile on your face. Oh, and so there's, I can't believe I'm forgetting the actress's name, Catherine something. But I'm so focused on remembering that she plays Agatha Harkness. But anyway, she's going to be the zany best friend, zany neighbor in all the sitcoms, because that's a very popular character, obviously. All right, so there she is there in the Dick Van Dyke set. Now that's very Bewitched. Like, look at those old school visual effects. Again, back when Bewitched aired, people were blown away. Again, and now we're just like, oh, that's adorable. So everyone's sitting down to dinner here. I love this. They're like, tell us all, being nosy neighbors. And they don't remember where they're from. They don't know anything about themselves. And I like the sound here. This is very good too, the way the editing on hitting the table, and you see the screen expand. And they're like, what's happening? I wanted to pause that there for a second. You see his tie? I'm wondering, for some reason I'm just catching it here, even though we saw the tie earlier. The sparkles, I guess they did their job. They distracted me earlier. But I'm wondering if there's some, like this is a show that you're going to have to pay attention to every single thing. Oh boy! But I'm like, are those dots on his tie, do they say something in robot language? Or maybe they're just a nod to the fact that he is a robot. Either way, I like it. The production design team can't let something go like that. They have to have some meaning behind it. So Marvel Studios presents, and I like the way the font changes. It flickers there too. So here they go all Pleasantville, right? They're like, ooh, we're changing decades, changing sitcom styles. That's a lovely sweater. And now look, we do a bunch of quick cuts. They're also going not only through a sitcom, but the different stages of a relationship. Oh my God, it's amazing. That's a little rear window for you there. That's all about relationships, that movie. My favorite movie of all time. If I had to pick just one. That's where I fell in love with film. Writing, doing an examination just like this. It's a wonderful experience. And that's going to make this show even more enjoyable. So they're going through like, newlyweds, and then, like like just playing around. And they got kids. They got, oh, there they are. There's Wiccan and Speed. Pretty exciting. They're Young Avengers characters, obviously. And there's Again, Agatha Harkness is the crazy next door neighbor. I believe she's somehow actually involved in this, or at least keeping an eye on them. I talked to you about the rumors about Mephisto as well. So look, you've seen this before. It is indeed a Halloween costume because we're going to see Vision wearing one momentarily, and a Halloween theme. So I don't know why this is not coming out around Halloween, but it wasn't ready. Leave them alone, okay? It's beating Falcon and Winter Soldier, by the way, to the punch. Falcon and Winter Soldier, of course, was supposed to come first. Now, is it delayed just because of coronavirus holding up its filming, or because, as some people have wondered, does it tie into the ending of Black Widow, so it can't come out before that movie? That would suck for Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I don't know when Black Widow's coming out. All right. That would be another reason to maybe force it onto Disney+. So when I first saw this shot, I thought it was Magneto, because he levitates like Magneto. Does Wanda have daddy issues? I like the way the light flickers, or, flickers when he goes by. That's pretty sweet. So, only one house, which is both cost-effective from a budget perspective and creepy from a production one. But you see, it's Halloween. You'll see him in a costume a little bit later in this trailer, but here he's full Vision mode. So he goes to survey the neighborhood, and he's like, looks like a nice place to live. Now look, when he lands here, there's a hole in his cape. Isn't that wonderfully, deliciously, hauntingly creepy? And romantic, kind of. I love it so much. All right, and so he lands perfectly so that the car light really accentuates the hole in his cape. That's fantastic. So Agatha's just frozen there. It's Halloween. You can see the Halloween decoration when he lands. But Agatha is dressed like a witch, which is perfect because Agatha Harkness is a witch, like from the days of Salem. All right, this is so great. That's a nice, I like that off-green, slightly green wig you got there, Catherine. Forgot your last name. So he wakes her up, and she's like, oh my God, am I dead? And he's like, why would you even think that? Paul Bettany, by the way, his first thing is not comedy. He's a great actor, very charismatic, but he's not known as a comedian. Although he is kind of playing the straight man, whenever they, for those of you who don't know the term, some of you don't know the terminology when I reference it. You guys don't know what cheesecake is or beefcake, but in this situation, in a comedy duo, there's the person who makes the joke and then the jokes, and then there's the straight man who they're supposed to bounce the jokes off of. So you have a nice ebb and flow, and everything's not the same. So it gives you levels. So he's a straight man, and I think Paul Bettany is well suited for that. And she's like, because you are. And he's like, what? And you're like, oh my God, it's like some kind of weird limbo. Like Wanda killed his body, but saved his consciousness. Where is she going to put it by the end of this show? I love her laugh. That's great. So visionary new age. And then you can see, there he is in his, his homemade Vision costume. That's not bad. That's hilarious. I really like that a lot. I really want to see what all the other costumes are. Are they all going to be Disney themed? I think that might take people out of it. But I'm curious. That person just has oh, that's a witch. I thought it was a cone on their head. I was like, you can spend a little bit of money for a costume. Now this is great. My first thing, when I first saw it, is it called attention to how she looked when we first met her. Remember at the end of, it was Winter Soldier, right? At the end of Winter Soldier. So has it been that long? It was the end of Winter Soldier, and you met the two twins, Pietro and Wanda, who'd been experimented on, and she was all crazy. She got better, but then she's going to go crazy again. She was playing with the cubes, right? So this kind of reminds me of that. It's great. Remember they said that this is like the same magic as Doctor Strange, although because she's inexperienced, it doesn't form the cool patterns that Doctor Strange is able to make it form. But when you really pay attention to this, she's rearranging the furniture in her house with magic. Not just rearranging it. Well, she's not actually, usually people like to rearrange their furniture to freshen things up. Wanda can replace it. She's also replacing the art on the wall. I think that's really cool. That's amazing. And she looks like she's having a bit of a nervous breakdown, or maybe it's just Saturday morning. All right. See that WandaVision television thing? Now look. Someone is getting thrown out, and that looks like Danny on the street, right? It's just a lone street surrounded by nothingness. So you can see the red energy surrounding them, because that looks like Wanda did it. And she comes out of some dimension. See, it's day here, but she pops out at night. It's like a little bit like Poltergeist, too. They came out of the TV. And so that's really cool. So she gets shot out of this dimension, this television dimension. Oh, where was that? Was there like they look like they're in some kind of, I wonder where they are. You can see like some kind of town sign. That's interesting. All right, so that's a sword. We've seen the sword logo for filming already, so that's the replacement for shield. Sword and shield, get it? They also have an amazing budget. So there we go. There she is, Monica Rambeau, all grown up from Captain Marvel, now played by Teyonah Parris, who also is in the upcoming Candyman movie. Teyonah Parris, Candyman got delayed, but even though she's not having quite the same year, she's leveling up overall. Now, she was the second Captain Marvel in the comics. However, she also went on to be named Spectrum, which is a cable company, if they want to go there. It's not Disney-owned, though, so I don't think they will. But I'd be like, please, can we do it? I really want to have the reference. But anyway, I wonder if she'll get her powers somehow during this situation, or if she's on the case because of her powers. Because she has light powers, and what's television? But beams of light and electricity. Well, that's what it used to be. I don't think it so much is today because of digital and technological advancements. But still, I think that, again, she's either here because of her powers or she gets her powers through this. I'm very curious to see what happens. They're light-based, again. They're pretty cool powers. That's also some pretty amazing eyeshadow. Did that happen to her while she was in there, or did she get dressed to party? So they're like, we sure are an odd couple. And we're like, we love every second of it. And that's like that wonderful little sitcom. We are so happy. They're like, we're no longer side characters, baby. We're front and center. We loved being Disney Plus. They're like an ad for being Disney Plus. And I got to tell you, it looks fantastic. They sold me, speaking of television, of course, commercials. WandaVision with the smoke behind it. That's so fantastic. And then they're like, exclusively, so you better frickin' subscribe to it, Disney Plus, and they have the 1950s or 40s music over it, which I think is so cool. And they don't give you a date, though. I think it's going to be December because they recently released a schedule of upcoming shows, and it was September through November, and WandaVision wasn't on there. And of course, The Mandalorian has to go first, and since there's so little new content on Disney Plus, they're going to stretch it out. So they'll probably let The Mandalorian finish and then pick right up with WandaVision to keep you for appointment television on Disney Plus. What do you think? Thank you for taking this class with me. We're going to have a whole semester when the show drops. So subscribe so you don't miss any of those episodes or any of my other episodes. And of course, as always, you can check out some of the latest episodes right now.